Greetings and welcome to today's premiere of the Sounding Board. The first topic discussed on this brand new YouTube edition of the Sounding Board is a subject that can be considered as controversial because there are so many methods of madness. Today's category is leadership. So in order to establish any substance on the matter, we must first define what leadership is and how it applies to us in the first place as role players. Leadership is defined by Merriam-Webster's dictionary as 1. The office or position of a leader. 2. The capacity to lead. 3. The act or an instance of leading. And 4. Leaders or the party leadership. Now this seems rather vague, doesn't it? Why is there this necessity to point out this textbook definition of leadership? Well, the value actually lies behind the fact that we have so many acclaimed leaders in the communities across the roleplay board, and very few of them actually understand the fact that if you are to take up that position, that you should also carry a mentality of a leader as well. For God's sakes, you say, this is just a game. How important can the leadership role be to someone or something that is meant for pure enjoyment? Well, I'll tell you. It's like introducing a child to a PlayStation controller. If they are taught incorrectly about what that item does, they will never fully enjoy the outcome of the game that they're intending to play. They will never enjoy the console until someone shows them a uniformed way to use it. So much the same can be said for roleplay. If you have a kingdom, a coven, an empire, hell, even an entire galaxy, you will inevitably find yourself in a position of leadership where people depend on you to lead them properly in that particular roleplay and its chain of events because, surprise, they suspect that if you own your own establishment, that somehow you must at least have a sliver of an idea of what you're doing, right? You're wrong. So many of you crave the demand to have an importance in this community. But what you fail to realize is that if you do pick up that leadership role without understanding the consequences of that role, that you will undoubtedly lead in failure. Now that seems a little brash, doesn't it? But that's our truth for you. I mean, if you do intend to lead, then at least identify common rules and practice them, so that while you're enjoying your little escapades of grandeur, that you're not also leading someone else astray. How do you know what the basic rules are? What's acceptable in the community? Well, that's another topic, all in it of its own. I'll tell you, though, briefly, that there are some general guidelines, something in common that always relates to roleplay. No god modding, no mixing, no metagaming, and no auto-hitting. I don't need to define each of these taboos, as I've called them, because you can ask about them yourself. Most leaders worth their salt can say that they can comprehend what these 4 role-playing errors are and how to critically fix them. Not to stray, though. Just because you understand the basic laws of roleplay doesn't mean you're equipped to be a leader either. Leaders are compassionate, but know when to say no. When and how to tell someone that they are mistaken, that they've made an error, but in a fashionable mannerism that is productive to the one that they are guiding. You will not, or at least I pray not, deliberately call a player out in front of an entire crew and scold them with ridiculous profanity that deters a role player from the educational point that you were attempting to explain. No, use some common sense. Praise in public, reprimand in private. Because whether you like it or not, you're embarrassing the role player you're trying to teach, and while you might find amusement in that, you should actually and probably will be an embarrassment to the others and other leaders of the community. If you decide to correct a person in public, try to create a generalization of the matter rather than sock it directly to them. Make a lesson educational and informative for everyone. All in all, you should be able to put arising issues to rest with ease, including conflict between 2 other role players. Be unbiased and be justified in what you say and show. Be understanding of both parties and their emotions and bring the controversy to a rational and reasonable conclusion. Leaders are innovative, creating change among the community that they follow. They will not let their groups grow stagnant, and they show that their influence and creativity. taking the initiative and striving for more productive and enjoyable routes to enjoy what we have all come here to enjoy, and that's roleplay. Innovation is what differentiates leaders from followers. Leaders will show integrity, not only doing things right, but also doing things the right way. Stand up for a moral foundation, ethical principles, and honesty. You are a leader not by age, but by the people who follow you and who you've come to inspire. So inspire them with encouragement to do the right thing, even if you are the minority. Just because we are typists behind the screen and living in a virtual world full of pixelated characters does not give us the right to be cruel and insensitive to the emotions of others, regardless of whether you feel it's entertaining to everyone else or not. You might have the strength to withstand the words of another, but that does not mean that another has the will to stand up to your words. And if you find that the least bit amusing, that harming someone mentally is your forte, then rest assured you are not a leader, but rather an eyesore to the rest of society. A leader is someone who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Leaders will be accountable. There is no such thing as a perfect leader. No matter how hard we strive, we will tell you that we are always learning, and that sometimes to learn, you will make mistakes. A good leader will hold not only their crew accountable for mistakes they've made, but will also stand accountable for the errors that they too have committed, as they know errors are a building block for success. If they don't know something, they will make an effort to gain knowledge of the subject unbeknownst to them. And if they don't or can't, they will usually find someone to explain the subject who does have that information. A constant state of evolution begins for the betterment in moments such as that. A leader has to be a visionary, an educator, innovator, motivator, communicator, facilitator, advisor, humane, understanding, and emotionally resilient, to name a few things. If you cannot meet these sort of expectations, then perhaps it's best to learn how first, then proceed forward, and then only thereafter advance to the stage of leadership. It's a complicated world with complicated people, but you can be an inspirer, integral activist, a friend, an instructor, and a leader. So begin first as one who learns the way, goes the way, and then shows the way. This is the sounding board, and I'm the typist for Grim Jaw Mystique, saying, have yourself a happy roleplay.